Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. It's Alex trailer day. I know a lot of you have been really excited, really looking forward to what's going on. And Alex, not only is he pretty different, I mean pretty different. He isn't a charge character anymore. Which, to be real, is a little upsetting to me. I'm not a fan of charge erasure. But besides that, he's got a lot going on that's brand new. How much going on that's brand new? Well, he's effectively a different archetype now. He's now a stance-based mix-up character. Yeah, you heard me right. He has a stance with 11 moves. Is this Street Fighter or is this Virtua Fighter? You know what I'm saying? But don't worry, we're going to go into it in exhaustive detail. Also, not the least of which, hey, Alex, he's a wrestling character. I'm a bit of a wrestling fan. And wouldn't you know my surprise when the wrestling references got dialed up to 11, because I'm like, wait a second, that's a Snapdragon suplex. Wait a second, that's the V. Oh, that's the one wing 8. Yeah, so Alex is basically Kenny Omega is what I'm trying to say. And maybe I'm not selling it well enough here. He's not just basically Kenny Omega. He is Kenny Omega. So Kenny Omega is the motion capture actor for Alex in Street Fighter 6. And here he is setting up the one-winged angel, although it's called something else in the game, because there can be confusing stuff. We'll get into it. But yeah, pretty big get. Getting a wrestler to mocap the wrestler, that's pretty cool. Also, not even the first time this has happened in fighting games. Speaking of Virtua Fighter, which we just mentioned a moment ago, Kana, aka Asuka, actually did a lot of the motion capture work for Virtua Fighter 5 back in the day. So if you didn't know, hey, now you know. So now don't get it wrong, Alex has a lot of the classics, although he's a bit crazy on the grabs now. He's got all sorts of unique grab animations that trigger in all sorts of different situations. In fact, a lot of the moveset now completely changes if it hits regularly or if it hits as a punish counter. Heck, even his level 3 now changes, not only between, hey, is this a regular level 3 or is this a critical art, but also, hey, did it win the match? Alex is going to have a lot more situational animations than basically any other character in the game, and by a lot. And by that logic, Alex is kind of more expensive than a lot of the other characters because there's literally just more animations for him. But I guess as the game goes on, they learn their craft better and the characters get more advanced that way. But hey, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to break down in the trailer. They also sent me a press release, so I know a lot of the names of the moves and all that kind of stuff. So let's dig into the gameplay trailer. So we open up, Alex is working out in World Tour. It's his more classical outfit, kind of doing the backdrop of his classical stage as well. Specifically the stage from Street Fighter 3 Second Impact, not Third Strike. This might be another area created for World Tour mode because I don't remember it specifically offhand. But yeah, Alex is working out and you better believe there's no mention of Street Fighter 3 or Gil or the Illuminati or anything like that. I really hope they give some finality to that storyline. His official profile mentions nothing about Street Fighter 3 other than Tom, his adopted dad. And that yes, Alex is officially a heel, a bad guy in wrestling now. Other than this, the only thing to come of this, other than some shots of him working out, which I checked Twitter, I see some of y'all are really, perhaps too into him working out. But yeah, he's like, oh yeah, I remember street fighting. And then, hey, cut to gameplay. Alex kind of just disposing of the weighted training equipment as you do. And out of the gate, we're going to get silly. Introducing his stance. Yes, he's a stance character now. The Prowler Rush, where he kind of runs in on you amateur wrestling style on his knees. And then apparently, going by the press release, has 11 options from it. One of them is a command jump, where basically you kind of short hop and can do all your various air actions. You can go into the Prowler Stance manually, and a lot of different moves will transition into it. And basically, the stance is what Alex is in this game. Like, you have some of the classics, yes, but he's all about the stance now. And yeah, we got a bunch of different normals, as you can see here, including the boot. The boot will remain. Also a big punish counter for him, and it's gonna play in more into the trailer, as we'll see. We got target combos, apparently, and then we got this. So it would appear to be his classical overhead. Although he's got lots of chops, we're going to talk about it, but it appears to be the classical overhead. And from there, goes into what would appear to be his forward throw. I say appear because there's just some shenanigans with his stance. But I'll take it on his face for now and say forward throw, but it could be something else. Because again, that stance has 11 moves and we're going to see a lot of it here. you can do a lot with it. And one of the other things about it is the classical flash chop move. It's a little different now because we got this. So this is flash axe, not flash chop. So flash axe is if you do flash chop with light or medium. And the medium version, which knocks down, can cancel right back into the stance. And those moves, those punches you're seeing from Alex that look like crouch medium punch or something, those are also stance moves, it would seem, because you can do it right from stance. Because we're going to see that punch whiff again, and then this is a stance-specific throw, the takedown. This is the hyper takedown, which you can only do from the Prowler Stance. And fun thing about his multiple grabs from the stance is if it hits as a punish counter, like you catch a parry or something like that, they will change the grab itself, and we'll see that later in the trailer. Now here we see a bit of a punish here. Gets like, I'm assuming stand light kick into a flash axe. I'm assuming maybe the light version because it does not knock Luke down. And then seemingly a target combo, which can cancel right into the stance again, the Prowler Stance. One of the stance options is the command jump. And then we get a cross up on Luke. And then we're going for an old school power bomb. Now, an interesting thing to note here, going by the press release, is this works sort of like how Manon's command grab works. So all power bombs do the same damage no matter what. It's all about range and speed. Light has the best range to grab people with, but is the slowest startup. Heavy has the fastest startup, but has the worst range. But otherwise, they all do the same damage. So it's not like a Geef's Pile Driver where each strength up does more and more damage. And depending on how the move connects, the animation can change as well. And now you look at here, oh, okay, some classics, right? Just crouch heavy punch. Nope, this is also a stance move. Again, stance has 11 options. So juggle into a flash axe. Next up, the old classic crossbody. And this could also be forward throw, maybe. But also looks like he's transitioning into run stance, Prowler Stance real quick beforehand. So who knows? So it's either this or the armbar that's a forward throw. I'm guessing, don't know for sure. But now, next up here, we got some classic Street Fighter. So they both jump air to air and get the juggle state and into the classic knee takedown. So some notes on this. So apparently the light medium versions of knee takedown are very fast, but cannot hit a standing opponent. Only heavy can hit a standing opponent. And conversely, for that, heavy is quite a bit slower. And the enhanced version also will give a true hard knockdown. Now, next up here, what could appear to be stand heavy punch can charge into a punish counter, and there we get some classics. So we get the flash chop, not the flash axe, flash chop. So that's done when you do the heavy punch. And like other games, after heavy chop, you can get an option here, and one of those is power bomb. And if you do power bomb, instead on a back turn person, it becomes power drop, which switches sides, does a bit more damage, and you basically like Tazplex the dude on the other end of you. Here would be appearing to be the regular back throw and just a big old lariat. Not exactly scientific, but I'm a big fan of the animation. Now here we see the big boot again and transitions into the Prowler Stance run. So there's a screen shake here now inferring that the boot is plus. There's no way regular stand heavy kick is plus on block, but also looks like he's kind of like holding it. So you might be able to do something to get it just to be advantage or at least cancel it into the Prowler Stance. And then another option from the stance is these low kicks, which can transition back into the stance, and then from there, another grab, the classical flying DDT. So now, from stance, given what we know, we have a classical strike, we have lows, we have a short hop, we have multiple kinds of command grabs, and we ain't done yet. Because don't forget some of Alex's classical moves, like the stomp. And apparently, this is as simple as just pressing medium kick, right? So there's lots of options and lots of threats from this, to say the least. Especially because on punish counter, Air Stampede apparently gives you a combo to work with. And yes, that is slash elbow from the stance. Once again, Alex is no longer a charge character, sadly. So he's all about the stance, but at what cost? And his level 1? Well, hey, it's a classical wrestling finisher. It's the spear. So it is strike and throw invulnerable. So it's good for, just general defense. And a very appropriate finisher for a wrestler to have. Of course, Alex, I think he's got good form. Spears are very hard for wrestlers. You have people that have all-timer spears. And you got people who are, frankly, embarrassments to the art of professional wrestling. So I'll put Alex on the better side of that. Alex, decidedly a lot less Hulk Hogan than usual, though. Still kind of listening for the crowd, I can notice. Being less Hulk Hogan, is probably a good thing. I grew up a Hulk Hogan fan, but you got to realize it for what it is, right? And yes, classical Alex is very much a thing. And again, the boot. So it looks like this is the charge version punish counter. And this launches unlike what we saw before. More stance into crouch heavy and into EX knee. And this is interesting here. So EX knee here, obviously a very elaborate grab, not very real world practical, right? But this is a reference to Kinnikuman. Specifically, it would seem the napalm stretch. So they're reaching deep into the minds for some of these wrestling references. And here we can see heavy chop destroys projectiles, which is great. And yes, he has more than one follow-up besides power bomb for the back turn. So power bomb will switch sides. And this version will keep the same side. So if you want to keep the enemy in corner. Also, hitting Ryu with the Tiger Driver 91. Not exactly being a good brother and protecting his neck on this one. Like, you know, just to pull back the curtain. This is a move that can really hurt you for real, like very badly. Most wrestling moves protect the head or the neck, other than just, you know, spiking you on your head. Also, a little Owen Hart influence, as you can clearly see that Alex has kicked Ryu's leg out of his leg.
And that's why I kicked your leg out of your leg.
So moving forward, target combo again into stance. Attempt to drive impact, but 3 hits. And notice the big change up here. So he goes for the old school crouch heavy punch, which is now part of his running stance. And when it breaks the armor, it switches into just like a gigantic armbar move. The flash just very dramatic on the armor break. And is that because he was grounded? Or otherwise this is an anti-air move? Or what's with that? I guess we'll have to find out in time. But dunks Ryu. And again, one of the more interesting things here about Alex. So the same low we saw earlier, but many of his moves, if they hit as punish counters, will change the move and turn them into a different move or just a grab. So the stance low that we saw earlier on the punish counter now starts going for, like, say, an O'Connor roll style move, and then just sort of dunks him with a belly to back suplex. Here we see combo in the drive rush and again into heavy flash chop. Now we get another option here. So we've already shown on Flash Chop, you get to choose which side you dunk the enemy on. If you happen to do the enhanced grab, obviously the animation is different and I'm assuming more damage, and you choose which side to dump them on, according to the press release anyways. A very visually impressive dunk to say the least though. Here we can see Alex whiff stampede, so Ryu whiffs, and then we get EX power bomb, and then we get more classical just animations. So get hit by a power bomb, then get dunked on by the classic air stampede. And now we get to see his level 2. So basically it's just a big old F off Stan Hansen style lariat. And you can see here Ryu's throwing a fireball, right? So it's seemingly meant to be like a reaction check style super, a gotcha style super. I catch you throwing a projectile while I have the meter, well, get hit, dummy. Also, not just done with the lariat, you gotta style on people even more and gonna go for the classic Street Fighter V finisher. So this basically was the big super in Street Fighter V ender, right? Big razor's edge, if you will. And speaking of not protecting people's heads here, Alex, you're putting people in the hospital, but what are you doing? And then the big level 3 to end the match, right? And end the trailer. So we get a little bit of a combo beforehand. And yes, just to mention here, so the classical forward heavy punch lariat is stance only, or at least part of the stance. It's also apparently holdable, and if you hold it, it has super armor. After this here, classic light kick and EX flash chop combo, and then the level 3. This is called the final prison. So this apparently has 4 different animations. The level 3, the regular one, the critical art version, and then a different one for both of them if it happens to win the round. Like here, it looks like he breaks Ryu's leg or something. Like that's rough. You're not a very nice guy anymore, are you, Alex? And that would normally be the end of the trailer, but we got something special for Alex. Because Alex has 2 level 2s, not just 1. So first off, here's that charge lariat we just mentioned that has super armor, so that's nice, that's handy. Grapplers love super armor. And this second level 2 is only doable in a very specific way. You have to hit a back-turned enemy with EX grab, and you can only back-turn either by flash chop or by the lariat if it hits as a counter hit or as a punish counter. But anyways, yeah, land EX power drop because it's the back-turn version. And notice, wait a second, I know that move. That's not just any kind of suplex, that's the Snapdragon suplex that Kenny Omega uses. And then off that specifically, you can go for the level 2, and then you get an all new level 2, which is the V trigger into the one-winged angel. Signature moves of Kenny Omega. And again, as we mentioned at the top of the video, Kenny Omega is the motion capture actor for Alex in this game. So hey, we're doing his signature moves. So it's not called V-Trigger, FYI. It's the Omega Wing Buster, because if you don't know wrestling and it was called V-Trigger and you play Street Fighter V, like, well, this isn't V-Trigger, you'd be really confused. So different name. But why is it called V-Trigger? Because Kenny's a big Street Fighter fan. Kenny loves him some Street Fighter. This was from Fighter Fest. I was very lucky to be there in person. Also, remember the Street Fighter 6 Season 3 trailer where Kenny Omega was literally Alex, among other characters? So I think it's fair to say that was more than a little bit of a hint, right? Hell, Kenny Omega was even Cody back in the Street Fighter V days. Again, dude loves him some Street Fighter, and he had a really good Alex actually back in the Street Fighter V days. He could play. So there's that, and then okay, so that's why V-Trigger. Then why One-Winged Angel? Well, in case I haven't impressed it upon you. Yo, Kenny's a bit of a nerd. Check out his Wrestle Kingdom entrance. And I can't show any more of that or I'll absolutely get copyright striked. Wrestling is really sensitive to copyright strikes, folks. And that is the Alex trailer for Street Fighter 6. And it's definitely different, you know. For Sagat did some different things, right? And then people were worried, oh, are they going to change Viper? And then it turns out Viper is as close to her Street Fighter 4 version as she possibly could be. But Alex is really different. Now everything is the stance. The majority of his classic moveset is now tied behind the Prowler Stance. Lariat, Air Stampede, even like stuff like that would have been normals before. It's all in the stance. He can still do Power Bomb, that's still there. He still has some form of big boot and what I assume is stand heavy kick. But while Alex definitely evokes the flavor of the character, he's definitely quite different now. And I can definitely see some people enjoying that, and I can also definitely see some people maybe being a little cautious about it. Obviously, the trailer just happened, everyone's hype right now, but longtime fans, let me know what you think about that. Are you okay with Alex being a very different kind of character? Again, once again, his flavor is the same, but gameplay is definitely gonna be different now. And of course, we have Ingrid sometime later spring. Well, we don't know when, but later spring. And she's going to be something because obviously she's barely a character to begin with in her early appearances. So she's going to be effectively all new. So Alex is out March the 17th, as in the day after Capcom Cup. And inside baseball here, I just did a take one like, oh, well, you know, enjoy Capcom Cup, watch Capcom Cup, and then it'll be out. I'm like, oh, wait, it's pay-per-view now. So I don't know how many of us actually are going to get to watch Capcom Cup. That's kind of a bummer. Also a bummer, I liked him being a charge character. I like all charge characters. I don't like him losing charge status. Charge is becoming rarer and rarer in the modern day and age. So I hope for whoever's in Season 4, we can at least get one charge character. But that said, my initial impressions are thumbs up. I love the style. I love wrestling. He's evoking modern wrestling very well. And even if the gameplay is a little bit different, he still has a lot of Alex flavor at a minimum. And of course, when the time comes, which once again, March 17th, so it ain't any time soon. We got a month and plus to go here, right? But when the time comes, when he's out, I'll have all sorts of coverage for him, so don't worry about that. Combos, guides, all that fun stuff. But that said, well, I guess that's about it for the video. So again, Alex fans, longtime fans, let me know what you think about this modern version in the comments below. But otherwise, well, thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Street Fighter.